Fuck it, let's get it started, man. Fuck it, man. Fuck that time. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Life of a Champ podcast, episode number 107. Today's podcast, what are you building? Right? So this is going to be a good introspective podcast, like I mentioned, if you're coming from my promo. But yeah, for a few things I want to say before I actually go ahead and get it started. I want you to make sure you go ahead and follow me on TikTok, just Life of a Champ podcast on TikTok. I'm trying to post there weekly. I'm still trying to get adjusted to my work schedule and just trying to adapt to that as well. Along with that, make sure you go ahead and leave a like on my YouTube Shorts as well. I posted a few over the last week, so make sure you go and tap in with those for sure as well. And other than that, if you guys have any questions or want to contribute to the podcast, when it comes to what are you trying to build, right? So this is going to be a broad question, right? And we're going to get into the specifics. We're going to get into a lot of questions that you're going to need to ask yourself, and everyone's going to need to ask themselves, right? So if you do want to contribute to the podcast, make sure you go ahead and leave a comment regarding building in whatever endeavor or whatever. What are certain things that people need to think about, and what are certain things that are worth building, right? So make sure you go ahead and tap in for sure. All right, give me 1 second. All right, so the question of the day: what am I building? Right. This is a question that's I watched a few videos over this last week, and I've had a lot of time to think. My job does not, you know, take too much brain power to go ahead and do efficiently, so I have a lot of time uh, that is obviously awake and allows me to think. So with that being said, I asked myself the question: what am I building? Right. And this is something that's I kind of got a lot of inspiration from this one video from this one creator. His name is Dan. I think his let me go ahead and pull up his channel real quick. I want to actually shout out this creator. This creator has been one of the best YouTubers that I've watched in probably the last few weeks. So like let me find his channel real quick. It's not gonna take me that long. But yeah, this guy, he puts out a lot of content that's going to be catered to the people that are trying to build um, trying to build a platform for themselves essentially, right? And and also do it in a very very intentional way, and also having this good intention behind all of it. This is the type of videos. His name is Dan Coe on TikTok. He's on TikTok. He's on YouTube. That's where I watch the videos as well. So he gave me some perspective of the thing that he'd mentioned, right? And of course, I thought about it that deep before. I've thought about this video. The entire overall thing is basically summing up exactly what I'm doing with this and exactly what I'm trying to do with my own life, right? And it's something that, like I said, it was just all put into one video, basically describing exactly what I'm doing. So I wanted to go ahead and give you guys some insight on what that looks like, and also some questions that I had came up with off the top of my dome when it comes to just thinking about these types of questions. Anthony, appreciate you for stopping by. KJ, of course, appreciate you for stopping by. Like I said, if you are in here, make sure to go ahead and leave a comment just like I see who's in here, and go ahead and contribute to the podcast because you can. So yeah, the next question that allowed me to kind of get deeper into what am I trying to build. The next question was, what life do you want? Right. This is a constant reoccurring theme on my podcast because it is such a prevalent question, and yet there's not enough people that truly ask and truly think about it deeply enough. Right. What life do you want? Right. Do not settle for anything less than what you want in this life, because anything you want is achievable in this life. Right. So do not settle. Do not settle for anything less than what you want. So first, you need to define exactly what you want. Um, some people have a pretty vague idea of what it looks like, of what they want, right? You need to become very, very clear with what this looks like. Very, very clear. If you want a certain amount of cars, I want you to say that, right? I want you to think that. I want that to be in your mind and of your focus. If you want a certain type of person in your life, a certain type of friend or a certain type of partner in your life, you need to be very, very clear with what that looks like and how that person acts, or what type of career choice you want, right? You must be very, very clear with what you want that to look like. And like I said, a lot of people go through life and they do not ask themselves these questions. They do not become clear enough in their answer. More importantly, asking the question is one thing. Answering it thoroughly, answering it very, very clearly is a reoccurring thing that I've seen within some of the most introspective books that I've ever read. Shout out to Think and Grow Rich, a great book that talks about having intentionality behind your thoughts, right? Um, and this is your future we're talking about. More importantly, right? This is not some dream, right? This is your future. And I want you to look at it as that. Not not what building not even asking the question, what life do you want to have? What life will you have, right? More importantly. So asking yourself these questions is, like I said, very, very pivotal. And like I said, I spent a lot of time asking myself these questions, and the answers that I came to, I would say are a lot clearer than most people that I've talked to. Right, I've tried to have very introspective introspective thought or conversations with people, and I recognize that there's a lot of things that they don't have defined. Give me a second. All right, they just don't have a lot of things that are defined, and that's okay, right? That's okay. But you have to really you have to take this serious, right? And I always mention that, right? You have to take this life serious. So with that being said, another question that you must ask yourself, right? Are you actually doing what it's going to take to contribute to are you actually doing what it takes to contribute to the life that you want to live, right? You know, it's a lot of people, there's and this is most people I would say, they say things like this, right? Hey, I want this life, but then you look at their actions and you see if it matches up. Does it match up truly, right? Most people's actions do not line up, right? They say, "Hey, I want this certain lifestyle," right? Or I want this certain type of materialistic thing, right? And then you look at their actions and they're still doing the same shit that they did 5 years ago. And you're just sitting there just like, so you say you want these things, but yet there's no action behind it. There's no intentionality behind it. There's no real validity behind what you say you want. It is nothing more than just a dream instead of your future, like I'd mentioned, right? You know, a lot of people say, "Hey, you know, I have a dream car," right? I don't have a dream car. I have the car that I know I'm going to have in the future. Some people say, "Oh yeah, if I had my dream job," right? I don't have my dream job. I have my job that I will have in the future, or the career path that I will choose in the future. And I actually have it. I'm fortunate enough to have it right now, right? By doing this, and like I said, I'll get into more specifically what I'm trying to build personally, because obviously this is a Life of Champ podcast, and you know, being very, very transparent is something that I've always been able to do. Something I'm gonna continue to do. Grandma, of course, appreciate you for stopping by. You already know what time it is. You already know what time it is. Give me 1 second. So yeah, ask yourself these questions, right? Are your actions aligning with what specifically you want out of this life? What do you want out of this life? What are you trying to build? And are you actually doing what the fuck you need to do in order to, you know, have that in your life, right? Okay. Then another question that you must ask yourself is, why do you do the things that you do? Period. Not specifically in the future, but right now. Why do you do the things you do? There are certain habits that most people have that for whatever reason they have, but they don't know exactly why they have it, right? Are you why do you do the things that you do? Let's just say you have a mindless habit, right? Something you do daily. Why do you do it? If there's no real reason to do it, then why are you still continuing to do it? Why do you still continue to resort back to something that's not doing anything for you, right? This is something that um I got at 18 years old. I got rid of a lot of things that are part of the 18-year-old life, and even up to my age right now, that people still continuously do, because I saw no intentionality behind it. I saw no real world result from, you know, putting in work like that. So for example, right, video games is one of those things that I had to sacrifice. Absolutely had to sacrifice, because I questioned myself, why am I doing this, right? And the deepest answer I could come to was to bond with people that I was which was just to just bond with people, right? Bond with friends, bond with family members, whatever it is, right? Was to just bond with them. But I recognized that I could bond with them in a more meaningful way in person, right? Not over video games. Now, of course, and this is something I'm always going to be an advocate for, right? You know, video games is not going to be the best thing you need to do with your life, right? That's you need to ask yourself, why are you doing that? Is it a good time? Hell yeah, it's a good time, right? Do I love spending time and doing that? Hell yeah, it was a great time always. It was a great time with the homies, whoever I was playing with, right? It was always a great time. But at the same time, it's like there's just no reason. There's no fucking reason, bro. There's no reason, right? So ask yourself, why do you do the things you do? Question your own actions, right? If your actions are not aligning with what you want, then you must make small adjustments over a long period of time. That's how you get to the places that you want to get to. That's how you build the life that you want, that you will have in the future, right? By analyzing your behaviors, seeing if they align up with what you want, and if they don't, you must make sacrifices. You must be willing to change things, because if you don't, then you're going to stay the same exact spot. And the last thing I want to hear in this life is, and something that I hate hearing in this life, right, is people complaining about their current situation, right? If you're going to complain about your current situation, you need to be taking action behind it, right? This is something that I'm a huge advocate for. So if you ever see me complaining about my current situation, just know the action is going to be there 100%, right? No doubt in my mind, the action is going to be there because I cannot, me personally, I cannot just be content with what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, right? I'm always constantly seeking an evolution of some kind. I'm always constantly seeing, hey, I'm right here right now. Maybe it's not the most ideal position that I would like to be in, but I do know if I do put time into these specific endeavors that it's going to result over time eventually like the life that I would like to live, right? The life that I will live in the future, right? So ask yourself these questions. Um, another question which you can afford to be a little less clear on this, but this is something that still needs to be very very clear. Why do you avoid the things that you avoid, right? There's a lot of things that I've chosen to avoid. There's a lot of life paths that I've chosen to avoid based off of firsthand experience or secondhand experience that I've seen through other people, right? I've seen plenty of people live the life that I do not want to live, and I've been very very careful to take the steps that they didn't, or take the steps to not take the steps that they did take, right? Um, if you're a person that's a good observer, right? If you see a lot of people in your life that are not living the life that you want to live, then you must carefully take the opposite steps that they're taking. That needs to be something of your intentions, right? Um, yeah, that was just my deepest reason for avoiding the certain things that I wanted to go ahead and avoid, was because, like I said, I recognize that most people in life do not get fulfillment. They do not get fulfillment as much as they should, right? And with that being said, what are they doing that's holding them back in that position? Like I said, I've seen it time and time again, man. I'm just like, man, you know what? I don't want to live like this, so guess what? I'm not gonna fucking do that, right? And like I said, a lot of people don't think that deep. I don't understand it. Me personally, I do not understand it, right? Most people don't think that deep, but that is as deep as it needs to be. Simple as that. Let me read some of these comments. I appreciate everyone for stopping by. Like I said, if you're new, make sure you go ahead and subscribe or leave a follow if you're watching on Twitch, as well as yeah, leave a like on the video as well if you are taking something from this. Right now, men, we need this because I'm in a very I'm in a wary idea where I need to go back and think deep about what I want to build and who and what I need to do to it. Okay, Champ is on here every day building himself up on camera and off camera with his work ethic and putting in the extra work in the gym, relationships, etc. Exactly. Real life dubs with the homies feel way better than video game dubs with the homies. 100%. Anthony already knows what time it is, man. He already knows what time it is. That is exactly what it is, right? Yeah, it's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. All right, getting into it. So I want to break down specifically why I do the things that I do. Why am I on this? Why am I doing the podcast right now? And I have answered this before, but just thinking about these questions allows me to think deeper than what I've thought before, or allows me to piece together things that I had that were not exactly pieced together within my own mind, right? So I had to think about it. Think bigger picture. Think bigger picture, champ. That's what I told myself. Right. So basically, what I'm building a personal brand that is focused on self development that will branch out into many different areas of my interest. Right. This is the Life of a Champ podcast. This is the Life of a Champ franchise. This is the Life of a Champ LLC. Right. Whatever it is, Life of a Champ Enterprises LLC. You already know what time it is, man. This is exactly what it is, right? This is the foundation, right? That's pretty much what it's going to be. Anything in every endeavor that I choose is going to stem back to these certain things, right? Along with this, I wanted to do this very, very much, and this is exactly what has been my dream all along, right? And this is going to be my reality here very, very soon, right? I want to get paid for being me. It's as simple as that, right? There's a lot of people right now on the internet that are getting paid to be themselves. People love to see somebody be genuine. They love to see a great story, right? I want to get paid for being me. I want people to support me. I want people to want to see me win because of who I am, right? And it is just as simple as that. You can say that sounds however you would like, right? That is ultimately what it comes down to, right? And I think that is the most one of the most beautiful things that is in this reality right now is people are getting paid to be themselves, right? And as long as they're, here's the thing. One thing I want to mention as well is there's a lot of people that are getting paid to be themselves that really don't contribute anything positive to this world. They contribute entertainment, but it doesn't do anything for anybody, right? And that is what that is the lifestyle I'm trying to avoid, right? I'm trying to bring you guys some value. I'm trying to give you guys a game on a weekly basis because that's just who I am. That's what I do. And with that being said, getting paid getting paid for being me is going to be a reality of mine very, very soon, right? Yeah, I'm building something right now that once I make money off of it, I'm going to be living a better life and a better existence than most people that I've ever met, right? Probably better than any person that I've ever met myself. So, like I said, what does this look like for you, right? What do you need to build? What are you trying to build in this life, right? It needs to get that deep, right? And I've taken the time to think about these things as deep as I needed to think about them, right? And that is the answer that I came to, right? I want to live a life better than most people around me, right? Observably so, right? The only way I can do that is by answering the questions deep within myself that is going to bring me the most happiness and fulfillment. And yes, I said happiness and fulfillment, but more importantly, fulfillment, of course, right? If you've seen my last few podcasts, you understand that thoroughly. Fulfillment is definitely way better than happiness, but fulfillment along the way will bring all all of the emotions, right? Bring the whole spectrum of emotions, but happiness will be one of those things inevitably, right? And yeah, it is just as simple as that, right? Getting paid for being me is a future reality of mine for damn sure. Along with this, right? You must think deeper than just that, right? So, what else am I building, right? You ask yourself, what else? What else do you want to build outside of your career? What else? What are specific endeavors you want to go ahead and pursue that are worth building upon? So, one of the things that I've chosen to do, and this is something that I will recommend until I die, right? This is going to be building the body that will protect my loved ones. That is an ultimate goal of mine, right? And along with that, you're going to have longevity. You're going to have, just better overall, what is it? Just overall life in general. The quality of life is going to be better in general, based off of choosing to build that body, right? Or for you for example, right? Whatever you want to do with your own physical self, right? Or maybe that's nothing at all, right? Obviously, that's not something I'm recommend. But what are you trying to build in that realm of endeavor, right? Um, yeah, exactly. You already know what time it is, man. You already know what time it is. So that being said, that is what I'm building. That is another thing that I've chosen to build over that period of time, right? Another thing that I'm building right now, and this is something that I also recommend for everybody to build. This is going to be building a mind that is resilient and adaptable in any and every life situation. That is something that um I'm constantly on the pursuit of building, right? And constantly something that I have built. And if I ever, when I ever, not if I ever. It obviously is just a when, right? Whenever I encounter things in life that are going to be difficult or perceived to be difficult or perceived to be confusing at certain times, I'm going to know what to do in those moments. Time and time again, I'm going to prevail, right? That is the mindset that you must have, right? I'm right now cultivating and building the mind that will allow me to be resilient in every endeavor, right? That is something I'm also going to recommend for you to build right now, right? If you need some inspiration, if you need some mindsets, if you need some different seeds to be planted within your mind, I'm going to recommend my podcast, the Undefeated Mindset podcast, episode number 1 of that. Fantastic podcast, absolutely fantastic podcast, and it'll give you a slight insight into the ways that I think, and hopefully it'll give you some suggestibility to go ahead and believe in some of those things as well, because your life is going to be better based off of you believing those things about yourself. So, with that being said, building my mind is also one of those things that you have to do. You have to do. And along with this, right? I want to ask a specific question because this is another question that is very, very important, right? This is going to be, who are you building it with? This is going to be one of the most fulfilling things that you will do in this life, right? Asking yourself the question of who you want to build it with. Do not be building it with lame people. And when you think of it like that, right? What life am I trying to live and who am I trying to build it with? What type of characters do I want to build that with? So when you evaluate somebody coming into your life, right? Are they that type of person that you want to build with? And if they're not, and I'm not even talking just, like relationship wise. I'm talking way deeper than that. I'm talking about your friends. I'm talking about even some acquaintances, right? If you're going to be giving anybody your energy at all, are they truly a person worth building with? And I would say most people in a lot of people's lives are people that they don't want to build with, yet they still keep them around. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why, but Ask yourself the question: who are you building it with, right? And I'm thankful enough to have the support system that I have. I'm thankful enough to have curated the people throughout the years in my life that are the perfect people to build with, because of certain things about their personality traits that allow them to be so great, and even some have potential that they haven't even tapped into, or better yet, I see their greatness in their potential better than they see it themselves, right? And that is in anybody within my life, I see a great amount of potential within them, right? Like I said, maybe even some more than they see themselves. And with that being said, like I said, you must ask yourself that question, and you must be very, very diligent with how you go about that within your life. Who are you building it with? What life do you want to live? Who are you going to build that life with? What type of person, what type of people do you want in your life? What type of character traits do they have? Do they have loyalty? Do they have honesty? Do they have whatever, right? Be very clear with these things, because once you're very clear with these things, you'll begin to see if people truly, truly fulfill that for you. And if they don't, you get them get them up out of there, man. And that's okay. That is okay, right? If they're not, if your lives are not aligned, then your lives are not aligned. You can go ahead and get rid of them, whatever, move on, right? But what I will say though is, the more clear that you are with these things, right? With any of the questions that I've asked today, the more clear you are with these things, you're going to see certain things. You're going to be able to recognize certain patterns patterns within life that are going to be exactly contributing to exactly what you asked for. Time and time again, I've seen certain things that have lined up, and I'm just like, man, that is too good to be true, man. That is too good to be true, for it to line up that specific way. It's just something that is very, very beautiful. And like I said, you'll begin once you begin to think about these things very, very clearly, and believe that these are things that you deserve in your life, right? You're going to see people come into your life that have these traits. You're going to see people that are going to want to build this life with you, right? The more clear that I became, the better I was at attracting the certain people that needed to be in my life, whether it was a person that is permanently going to be in my life, or a person that was going to, temporarily need to teach me a lesson in this life, right? I was able to attract them, like I said, whether it was for a long period of time or a short period of time. I recognized exactly their purpose in my life, right? So this is something that, like I said, not a lot of people. The reason why people live this very, very blurry life, and I say blurry life because they're not clear on anything, and then they have a lot of life questions, is because they just they haven't answered any. There's one thing about having a lot of questions about life. It's another thing about answering the questions that you ask yourself. Yeah, and it's just as simple as that, man. Give me one second. Champ is going to build a whole empire. I called it, man. You already know what time it is, man. You already know what time it is, man. Appreciate everyone stop by. Hold on, give me one second. I'm gonna check the Twitch. Let's see if anybody's on Twitch. Probably not. It's all good though. All right. All right. Give me one second. I'm about to get back into it. Another question that you must ask yourself with this, right? Why are you doing it? why are you doing it? It's probably that's probably the most important question that I've asked so far. Why are you doing it? Now, if you realize, here's the thing: if you don't have any motivation, if you don't have the constant discipline that you need, your why is not great enough. It's not. Why are you doing what you want to do? You just want to do it because like it's cool or something like that. A lot of people do that as well. They see certain trends within society, and they say, "Hey, that looks cool," and that's about as deep as it gets for them. Hey, that looks cool. I want to try to do that myself. That's about as deep as it gets, right? Now, if that's something that you truly would like to go ahead and do, you must think way deeper than that. Why are you doing that? Who who are you building it for? Right? That's another question you must ask yourself. Why are you doing it, and who are you building it for? Every question that I will ask is going to extend beyond you, right? It's going to extend it's just going to extend beyond you, because you need to think greater than your current situation. Think about this person right here. And if you're here's the thing, if you're going to think about yourself, think about this version of yourself. Think about the future self that you will have, that you will be, right? Now, if you want to go ahead and appease this person, this future version of yourself, what do you need to do? What steps do you need to take today that's going to make them say, "Hey, past champ, man, that motherfucker was putting in the work, and I'm thankful for the work that he put in." because now he allowed me to live the life that I live right now, right? But if you never, you must value your future self more than your present self, because your present self is not always going to have the best interest in mind for you. They're not. And yeah, that is a reality that I've came to as of recently, right? It's something that I've seen time and time again, right? Where let's just say, I'm a person who's very, very careful with all of the decisions that I make within my life, but more so, being very, very strategic in that way. And like I said, most people don't like to live life as strategic as I do. Whatever, do whatever you got to do. Live the life that you want to live. But like I said, if you're gonna complain about the results, then maybe you should have fucking planned it out a little bit better, right? And it's just as simple as that. But yeah, why are you doing it? Make sure your why is great. And if you need a book that I would recommend that is going to hopefully give you some more insight of your why, and something that I'm probably going to need to reread again, because even though I have taken a lot from this book, I think I could reread it and get some more out of it. This is going to be Start With Why, by Simon Sinek. Definitely a great book that I was recommended by one of my mentors at the time. And yeah, it is a book that I will continue to recommend to people, because it's going to give you a different insight of how it's going to show you how people think and how superficial it is, really, right? And then it'll give you some insight of why you should think a certain way, and how you should always start your thinking, and how you should always start your planning based off of why are you doing it, because that is going to give you the strongest foundation for continuing to do it regardless of what happens. So I'll give you some small insight that I remember from the book, right? They said it's the what, how, and why. Those are three questions that you must ask yourself. So more importantly, most people are still stuck on the what to do, or they're stuck on how to do it. And here's the thing: a question that a lot of people never ask, which is one I'm encouraging you to ask yourself, is why are you doing it? If the more clear you are with your why are you doing this? Why are you building the life that you want to live? Why are you choosing certain people to be in your life as opposed to other people, right? Why are you avoiding certain things? Why do you do the things that you do? The clearer you are with that why, now the what is going to be very, very clear, very, very clear, because it's gonna seem somewhat simple, because it's gonna seem like the only logical thing to do. And then all you have to do after that is figure out the how. And the second that you start figuring out the how is the second that life becomes so much easier, right? And that is something that I've done. I've asked myself the why. I figured out the what, and I have figured out and continue to figure out the how, right? Those are going to be very, very pivotal questions that you must ask yourself. And like I said, you must get deeper than the first two layers. The first two layers being how and what. Once you start thinking about why, everything else comes easier from then, right? You must reverse engineer the way you think and the way most people think. Like I said, most people think about the what, most people think about the how. The second you start thinking about the why, is the what and the how are going to become a lot easier. It's going to come a lot easier to you. So that is some insight from that book that I got from that book. So if you do want to go ahead and check that book out, that is definitely a book I recommend for sure. Like I said, if you're not interested, then you're not interested. It's simple as that. But I'm trying to give you all the game. I'm trying to give you all the game. So along with this, I'll give you some more insight of exactly what specifically I'm trying to build. Give me 1 second. What life am I trying to build, right? This is a question I've asked myself. And if here's the thing, if you're not very, very clear with this, hopefully you can take something from this and here's the thing, it's not even exactly copying me, because this is something worth pursuing. And this is not something I exactly copied from somebody, right? This is something that is just worth pursuing as opposed to other things that are worth pursuing in this life, right? I'm building things. I'm building something that fulfills my purpose, right? Me doing this podcast, me doing whatever life endeavor that I would love to choose later on in the future that I do not know and is not clear right now, right? Whatever I do, whatever I'm trying to build in my life is always going to come down to fulfilling my purpose, right? If it's not fulfilling my purpose, if it's not filling up my cup, then there's no point. There's just no point. So that's another question. Like I said, are you doing things that fulfill your purpose? Are you doing things that fulfill you? Are you doing things that actually contribute to your purpose, whatever your purpose is? And like I had mentioned on previous podcasts, right? You must be clear with what your purpose is. Once you're clear about what your purpose is, it's going to be a lot. Your life is going to be so much easier, because you're going to know what to do, and you're going to know what not to do very, very clearly. And the things that you go ahead and do, you're going to go ahead and dedicate yourself differently And I say differently. That's an interesting choice of words. You're going to dedicate yourself differently to those certain things. It's going to mean a lot more. More things are going to be at stake, right? Simple. Hold on. Let me answer somebody's comments. Even more than a podcast that yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. He needed to hear this. Exactly, Anthony. Appreciate it, man. Man is cooking. Only a fool wouldn't listen. Exactly, man. Like I said, man, I'm trying to put y'all on game, man. The last few podcasts, in my opinion, I've been killing it, right? I've been killing it, man. So, I appreciate the support, fellas. So another thing I want to mention as well, right? Another thing that's going to contribute to the life that I personally want to build, and something like I said, it's not exactly copying me. These are things worth pursuing in this life. This is going to be. I'm going to be building something that is truly going to make an impact on this world, right? And if you, like I said, if you don't recognize it right now, cool, man. Stay on that side, man. Stay on that side. That's all I gotta say. Because there's gonna be people that do see this, right? And I'm attracting those people into my life right now that are going to be able to see this, that they're going to be able to recognize my genuine intention to want to make an impact, a positive impact on this world, right? There's so many people contributing negatively to this world. I want to be one of these people that you see and say, hey, that person knows what the fuck he's supposed to be doing, and he's doing it well, right? That is my ultimate goal. Now, am I saying that? Am I doing it perfect right now? I'm not. Am I going to get better over time? Of course, because it's something that I'm going to be constantly working at. And yeah, that is something that I would say is a worthy thing to strive for as well, right? When it comes to the life that you're building, right? Are you building a life that is going to positively impact the people around you? If it's not, if that is a no, then what the hell are you doing with your life, man? What are you doing with your life? You're not doing anything. You're not doing anything. You're pretty much not doing anything at all. If you're not able to make a positive contribution to this world, to the people around you, and it's not something that is a conscious action of yours, then you're not doing anything, right? I don't care what job you're working. I don't care how much money you're working. If you're not making a positive impact, you're not doing shit. You're not. I'm sorry, you're not. And like I said, a lot of people they get caught up in this in the fog. They get caught up in the fog of this um, ideal portrayed life by society that say, hey man, if you're making 100,000 a year, if you're making 1 million a year, like, oh, you're doing great. Like, you can make if you're making $1 million a year and you're not doing anything that's making a positive impact, you're not doing anything. Yeah, you're making money. That's cool. Like, who the fuck cares then? Here's the thing: if you're making $1 million doing nothing, or making $1 million that is actually going to positively contribute to somebody's life, people are going to look at you differently. You're going to have the respect of people that are worth having the respect, that are worth respecting, right? And it's as simple as that. Like I said, I see too many people not making a positive impact on this world, and it actually irks me because there's so much potential. There's so much potential that everybody has, but yet only few actually tap into it, and only few use the influence for the positive, right? And what I will say though is, if I made this podcast a few years ago, would I be bigger now? Probably, but I will say that I would have struggled even more than, not to say that I'm struggling right now, but I would have struggled even more back then because a few years ago when I started learning about self development, this shit wasn't cool. This shit wasn't cool. Now it is. Now it went mainstream, like I mentioned in previous podcasts, right? It's just now went mainstream. Like, let's just say 2 years ago, right? This shit wasn't cool. Bettering your life and bettering the person that you are wasn't fucking cool a few years ago. And here's the thing: if you don't recognize it to be cool, stay on that fucking side, man. Like I said, stay on that side, man. Um, have fun, man. Just have fun, because just know your cup's never gonna be full, man. It's never gonna be full. Having fun is something that never gets fully satisfied. Can you be fun for a certain period of time? Yes, but if you're constantly seeking that hit of adrenaline, right? Continue to go ahead and do what you do, man. Ah, man, like I said, those people, man, those people are very questionable, man. But man, whatever floats your boat, man. But yeah, make a positive impact on this world. Figure out ways in which you can make a positive impact within this world. Simple. Another thing that I'm building within my life, right? Something that I'm building within this platform that I'm on right now, right? You watching me. Another thing that I'm building is going to be a mastermind of like-minded individuals have common goals, right? Anybody that I will attract to be, a person that is a supporter of this podcast is going to be a person that truly has the best intentions for his own life, right? Who's constantly thinking about the things that I'm questioning for them, right? Because The mastermind is one of the most important things, and I'm going to refer back to the book that I mentioned earlier. One of the books that I mentioned, Think and Grow Rich, is a perfect book. If you're not into books and you want a book that a lot of successful people have read, and is definitely a book worth reading, Think and Grow Rich is definitely a perfect example because it mentions this as well. It mentions the observations, all the points within the book, all the chapters within the book are observations of some of the most successful people in history, right? What do they do? What are things that they avoided? And here's the thing: with some of the people that were destined for greatness, but they failed. Why did they fail? Right? One of the common things that you've seen time and time again are going to be the mastermind, right? All great people, for the most part, have a mastermind. There's rarely anybody who came up and actually did something that had a positive impact on people's lives and they didn't come up with people that were helping them along the way, right? So I'm building a mastermind. This is what this is, right? These are the people that I'm going to be attracting to be, supporters of this podcast. This is what I'm attracting within, and this is what I have within my life right now, right? In my small circle of people, right? These are going to be people who are like-minded, who have common goals, who are pursuing common things that I would like to pursue myself. Now, with that being said, if you're a person that thinks the way that I do, but yet you are not surrounding yourself with people who think the way that we think, you must find some new people who think this way. It's as simple as that, right? Now, are these people common? No, they're not common at all, right? But at the same time, can you help them? Can you help certain people that do not think the way we think right now? Yes, you can. Is it worth it all the time? Probably not. But with that being said, if you see a person within your life, who has potential, who truly has potential to, like I said, who truly has potential, and you see them have potential with them choosing the life that is going to bring you guys the most amount of abundance of everything, right? Of all great things, then yeah, of course that's going to be a person worth investing in, right? So, like I said, if you're taking the time out of your day to go ahead and invest into this podcast, I'm going to make sure you're getting your time's worth, right? It is as simple as that, right? That is going to contribute to the mastermind. This is something that's, like I said, a lot of people do not have. Fortunately, I do have this, right? If I have an idea and I need people to consult, I have people that are going to give me good insight, always, right? That are going to give me honest, good insight to what I'm trying to do. And same thing with them, right? If they have an idea, if they have something that they want to talk about, um, I'm here. I'm always here for them. I'm here for them. That's part of the mastermind. Is conversing on ideas and trying to create a clearer picture in your own mind for what you want to do and what you're trying to build. That is the mastermind. Hold on, let me read some of these comments. We are leaders, not followers. Every day is a day that we got to think about what we are grinding for, and if we don't know what we do, we gotta find the purpose. Exactly. Everyone in the chat. Let's go to work, man. You already know what time it is, man. This is okay. Hold up. Exactly. Exactly. No, KJ is exactly on point, man. Building greatness, exactly. You must be doing the people's work, man. You must be doing the people's work, man. As simple as that. All right. Along with this is also something I'm going to be building, right? And I'm okay. Yeah, this is something else I'm building, right? I'm building, and this is something you obviously see right now. You're watching this, right? I'm building a platform where I can be my authentic and genuine self and be relatable to others and be something that is maybe potentially worth something striving for, right? That is one of my ultimate goals as well, right? With doing this, I'm trying to help people. I'm trying to, first, be what I need to be, right? Evolve to inspire, right? That is the motto. That is the motto, man. That is part of the motto of this podcast, right? The only way I can inspire anybody is first taking the steps necessary in the evolution of myself, right? That's how anybody inspires anyone, right? Being the first person that they need to go ahead and whose life they need to change, right? Um, if the only way you're going to be able to be that for somebody else is if you're that for your own self. Simple as that. So, with that being said, I'm creating a platform that is going to allow myself to be hopefully, some a positive impact on somebody's life. That's it. That's pretty much what it comes down to, right? Along with this, I'm gonna do what I do best. I'm building something where I can truly be, like I said, my genuine and authentic self. And what that looks like is being somebody. is being somebody that is building something that is going to be able to teach people things that I've known, things that have helped me in my own life. Certain problems that I've had in my own life, right? How did I get past these problems? What inputs that I need to have? What are things that I needed to hear in order to get past these certain obstacles that I had within my life, right? And then giving the people the game that they need, right? A lot of men right now need this, and I would say men need this more now than ever. They need to hear these certain things, right? I know I'm trying to. I, most of the content most of the content I'm making are going to be for men, right? Of course, there's going to be a lot of things that most people can just take from this podcast, period. But most of it's going to be steered towards men. But with that being said, I want to be able to do what I do best, and that is going to be teaching, right? I'm a natural teacher. I'm a natural leader. That's something that I've always been and something that I will always be. And with that being said, my purpose, part of my purpose is, leading others to the best part of their lives, right? Any person that comes into my life in some way, somehow, I'm going to help you in that way, right? And if I'm not doing that, then I'm not doing what I need to do, which never happens. But yeah, that is also something I'm building. That is something that is going to be built through this as well, right? Along with this, this is something that is an unconscious thought, but something that became conscious because of me obviously thinking about these questions, about the things that I'm trying to build. Right, I'm building my skills. Right, this is something that I recommend for everybody to do. Right, figure out what skills are worth being competent in. Be very clear with what those things look like. If you see somebody's life that looks ideal, what do they do? Take certain things from the people's lives that you see that are perceived to be more ideal than your current life, right? So whoever they are, take certain things from those people and attach that to your own character, right? So I'm building my skills, I'm building my voice, I'm building my speech, and I'm building my credibility, right? These are all things that I'm doing, and these are all things that I will continue to do, right? With this platform, more importantly, right? I have skills that I need to get better at, right? You see, speaking is one of them that I'm constantly getting better at over time. Along with this, my credibility as well. All right. The only way that I can build my credibility is, not only going through life experiences and talking about those life experiences, but just being there for people that need me, right? Truly need me. Yeah, and it's as simple as that, man. It's as simple as that. I appreciate everyone stopping by. Like I said, if there's anything that I'm missing that is worth building, and of course there's gonna be there's things that I haven't mentioned that are part of the character that I'm building right now that you see in front of you, right? But if you guys have a question that you think people must ask themselves in order to be very, very clear with what life they're trying to build, maybe a specific question about a certain aspect of life, I want you to go ahead and leave it in the comments. Appreciate it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate for stopping by, man. Come on, now you know what time it is, man. Yeah, this is like I said, man. Of course, man. Come on now. The game got to be. I got to put y'all on the game, man. You already know what time it is, man. But like I said, man, what life do you want to live? I'm gonna run you guys back down through what I had mentioned. Like I said, if you guys want to go ahead and leave a contributing comment to the things that I mentioned on today's podcast, make sure you go ahead and leave it in the comments. Like I said, whether this is I want you guys to give people the game as well, right? I want people to be able to contribute in a way that is going to be best and most beneficial for every single person that watches this. So if you're in the comments, like I said, if there's certain things that I have been missing, right? I want you to go ahead and leave in the comments, right? This is all about having great conversation and trying to get the most out of every interaction that we can get. And I say that not in the most superficial way. I say it in the most positive and practical way that exists. Um, so yeah, I'll run you down through the things that I'd mentioned. I'll go over them briefly before I go and end it off. So, what life are you trying to build, right? Ask yourself the question, what life am I trying to build? Be very, very clear with this. Like I mentioned early on, the clearer you are with this, the more likely you're going to be able to, one, attract the people that are worth being in your life, whether this is, people that are going to be people that teach you lessons, right? I've had a lot of people that were great people in my life that were just never meant to, permanently be in my life. With that being said, I was able to extract lessons from the interaction that I attracted, right? And at the very least, like let's just say some things, not all things are going to go perfect, right? With every interaction that you have in this life, but whether this is a friend, whether this is a potential partner, whether this is a family member, whatever it is, extract. If that person leaves your life, Make sure you go ahead and extract as much lessons as you can from that interaction, right? So with that being said, what life are you building? What life do you want? And are you actually doing the things that are going to contribute to building that life that you want, right? A lot of people are about the talking, not as many people are about the action. With that being said, if you're a person that says, "Hey, I want this life, right? I want to live this certain lifestyle. I want these certain luxurious things within this life. I want to be happy. I want to be whatever." Are you contributing to that truly, right? And most people watching this are not contributing as, and I would say all people that are watching this right now are not doing everything that they know that they need to do. So with this being said, you need to analyze it. You need to analyze if your actions and your words are aligned, because most people's are not. Unfortunately, they're not. Some people's definitely are. A lot of people's aren't. So make sure you're one of the people that are on the R side, that are actually putting in the work for the life that you want to live, right? And being very, very clear and being very, very intentional with all the things that you choose to do within this life, right? Another question you must ask yourself is, why are you doing the things that you're doing, right? If you're doing things that, are not contributing to the life that you want to live, why are you doing them? Why do you continue to do them? Why do you continue to chase after something that isn't going to be beneficial to your life, right? Why do you continue to invest so much time, energy, and focus into something that isn't reaping you the benefits that you know you need to reap in this life in order to live the life that you want to live? Ask yourself those questions. Another question you must ask yourself is, why do you avoid the certain things that you want to go ahead and avoid? Like I mentioned earlier in this podcast, right? There's a lot of lives that I observe, and there's a lot of ways of being that I do not want to be. So therefore, I must take the opposite route. And one thing I want to mention as well, with what life I'm trying to build, right? This is gonna sum it up in the best way possible. A thought that I've had: in order to live an unconventional lifestyle that most people don't see as practical and most people don't see as achievable, you must take an unconventional path, right? And one thing I recognize with me building this, right? Not a lot of people are going to truly understand, right? And I don't need to have their understanding to do what I need to do. I don't, right? All I need is all I need is the support from the people that I love, right? And the constant work and putting in the constant work and having the right focuses, and like I said, being clear with this in general, right? The only way that I'm going to live an unconventional life is if I take an unconventional route, right? And if you're a person watching this, right, and this podcast in general is not meant for people that are just average, right? So if you're a person that wants something more out of this life, understand that you probably will end up taking a unconventional route, and that's okay. Like I said, a lot of people are going to be questioning you, the decisions that you make, and truly, do you have to give them answers? You don't, because most people are not going to understand anyways, right? Most people can't even understand. And that is a sad reality of life. But at the same time, like I said, I don't live life for other people to understand the ways that I live life, right? I live life, and if you understand, then you understand. That's cool. If you don't, that's cool. I don't care, right? I don't care if you don't understand, right? I just don't care, right? And I feel like everybody should pretty much live their life like that, right? A lot of people are not going to understand you, but you don't need their understanding to live the life that you want to live. Simple. Along with this, right? What am I building personally with this platform? What am I building in my own life? What are certain endeavors that I'm choosing to spend my most amount of my energy on? Right now, I'm building a personal brand that is focused on self improvement, that will branch out to many different areas and to many different topics of my own personal interest. Right, I want to get paid for being me. Right, there's a lot of people getting paid for being them, whether it's them actually contributing something positive to this world, or them being stupid and getting views, right, and making money off of it. Right, I want to get paid for being me, right? And this is something that is a luxury within this time that we're living in right now. You see people getting paid for being them. You see people getting paid for allowing or for giving the people the game, right? And I want to be one of those people, so therefore, I'm acting in accordance to that every single week. With that being said, what else? What else is worth pursuing? What else is worth building within this life, right? For me personally, right? I'm building the body that is going to protect my loved ones, right? That is very, very important to me. And along with that, you're going to have, just overall better health, overall better longevity, and better quality of life. There's a lot of things that contribute to building that body that will protect my loved ones, but ultimately that's what it comes down to, right? Um, Obviously, you get confidence and things like that. Of course, there's a lot of other perks that come into building the body, but that is the life that I want to build, right? And if you're a person that is trying to get somewhat of a blueprint of what life to build, that is going to be the one thing that I recommend is building the body, right? Because here's the thing: if you build the body, then unconsciously you're building the mind to an extent, right? Because there's going to be certain tasks that come into your life that are going to physically challenge you, that are also going to mentally challenge you as well, right? When I work out, there's going to be certain periods of times where my workout is going to turn mental. It's truly going to turn mental. The physical is going to be obviously a factor, but ultimately what it comes down to is, getting over that mental hurdle. The I don't want to. Why am I here right now? Right? I don't feel like doing it. Getting over those mental hurdles are going to put you in a much more favorable position moving forward within life, because there's going to be plenty of moments where you're not going to feel like doing it. There's going to be plenty of moments where you're going to feel like you need to quit, right? But it's getting past those things because you've done things that are potentially harder than that in the first place. So therefore, you must prove yourself once more, right? You must be, and this kind of goes hand in hand with the mindset that I'm building, right? I'm building the mind that is resilient and adaptable in every single life, in any and every life single situation, right? With that being said, that is part of the mindset that would take to be resilient in those certain ways, right? Yeah. So like I said, that's another one that I'm gonna recommend, right? Building the mental, right? Building the mindset that's going to help you in life in every single aspect, right? If there's a specific podcast that I recommend, two of them I'm going to recommend, right? These are some of my favorite podcasts that I've ever made. Number one, I can't remember what number it is, but I can't remember. I think episode number 75. I think that's the 30 Champ Commandments. So if you want to see the things that I believe, the foundations that I believe in, right? There are some things that I would recommend. At the very least, you take some of these things that I mentioned within that podcast. Also, the Undefeated Mindset podcast. Hella good. One of the best podcasts that I've ever made, right? If you want to see some more insight of the ways that I think, and hopefully get some inspiration to go ahead and build some of your own personal undefeated mindsets, or like I said, even some of your own commandments, things that you live by, whatever you would like to call it. I just call it commandments, right? That is also going to contribute to the life that you want to build yourself, right? You must live by certain rules, right? Live, and of course, every single life situation is going to be adaptable, and things will change, obviously. But if you have morals and written out values that you go ahead and live by, that's going to put you in a better position to just live life, and that's also going to help you recognize whether somebody is worth having in your life or whether they're not. So, tapping with that for sure. Other than that, a few more questions I want to ask before I go and end it off, right? That I mentioned earlier, right? Who are you building it for, and who are you building it with? And relatively, the answer should be very, very similar, right? Who are you building it for? You must think, and both the questions have the same answer. They're going to extend beyond you, right? Because whatever you're trying to build within this life, the person that you're trying to build within this life, you must recognize that in order to get the most out of this life, you're going to need to be thinking way bigger than yourself in every single aspect. So, who are you building it for, right? So this is probably going to be your family, your friends, your loved ones, right? And who are you building it with? This must allow you to recognize, to see if you have the proper people put in place in order to truly build with, right? Do you have the right friends? Do you have the right family members, right? Did you choose the right partner that is going to allow you to truly build the life that you want to live with this person, right? Ask yourself these questions. You must analyze the people within your life to see if they're worth having or not. And if they're not, that's cool. That is just a life, right? People come and go, right? And that is just life. But you must recognize and you must think that deeply, truly, when it comes to these certain things. Another question you must ask yourself, like I said, one of the most important questions that I will ask before I go and end it off, right? Why are you doing it? There are plenty of questions that I've asked on today's podcast, but that's going to be one of the most significant ones that I will ask on today's podcast, right? Why are you doing it? The greater your why, the easier the what, and the easier the how in order to get to the life that you want to live, right? And it's as simple as that, right? I'm going to go ahead and read the comments. I'm going to go ahead and end off here in a minute. Man hits this outro with the energy of... Exactly. You already know what time it is, man. How many levels he tapping into? You already know what time it is, man. Come on now. Yeah, appreciate everyone stopping by. Like I said, hopefully you got some value from this podcast, and if you did, make sure you go ahead and leave a like. Also, make sure you go ahead and subscribe if you are new, or leave a follow if you are on Twitch. A few things I want to mention before I go ahead and end it off. Make sure to go ahead and leave a like on my YouTube Shorts, as well as the videos that I've been making that are going to be about 8 to 12 minutes long, or about 5 to 12 minutes long. Um, that I've been posting on this. Like I said, if you can't watch a full podcast, but you still want to catch some of the podcast and get the game, tap into those videos as well. Also, make sure to go ahead and follow me on TikTok, just Life of a Champ Podcast on TikTok as well. Tap in with that for sure. Other than that, I'll go ahead and hit you guys with the podcast outro. You already know what time it is, man. The motto, man. Fellas out here, man, we don't just work around here, man. We outwork. So make sure y'all working these motherfuckers every single day. You already know what time it is, man. After this, I'm going to the gym with the boys. Outworking y'all, man. You already know what time it was, man. You already knew what time it was. Other than that, yeah, this was Life of a Champ podcast, episode number 107, talking about what are you building, right? Asking yourself that question. Very, very important, right? Like I said, if you took some value from this podcast, make sure to go ahead and leave in the comments, whether you're watching this or watching this live. Like I said, I appreciate you guys for taking the time to go ahead and watch this. Other than that, make sure you go ahead and tap into the podcast that I'll be having on Thursday, episode number 108 of the Life of a Champ podcast. Other than that, yeah, like I said, make sure you outworking these motherfuckers. You guys have a good rest of your nights. And like I said, stay tuned until Thursday. Appreciate it.